Live, and you're watching us here on Sky 182 Ben Television. And of course, if you're in Africa, we're on Star Time Africa. Thank you so much for joining us. You can also log on www.bentelevision.com. Thank you so much. My name is Yemi Akinola, and you're here this lovely, lovely afternoon to talk about, updates in what is happening around the world. Today, we're going to be focusing on Nigeria, and we're going to be talking in particular about Ogun State. We are here to talk about Ogun State and, of course, the developments and the latest in terms of what is happening in Ogun State. I'm not going to be talking all by myself. I do have with me a guest in the studio. His name is Mr. Jide Odusolu, and he's the Special Advisor, Property and Investment to the Governor in Ogun State, and he's also the Managing Director of Ogun State Property Investment Corporation, OPIC for short. Mr. Jide, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's lovely to have you. Thank you so much for coming this afternoon. Ogun State, we know that Governor Amosun has just been, returned. He's going to do a second term. And we know that, he's been doing very well. The first 10, a lot of people have been saying what a good job he has been doing, especially in terms of road constructions and, infrastructural developments. But of course, that's what I know. I want you to tell us a little bit more about what's happening in Ogun State.
Well, it's been a successful and a fruitful journey. Like you rightly said, it's been returned for a second term. When we started out 4 years ago, well, almost 4 years ago now, it came up with a 4-point agenda. And it was basically focused on healthcare, education, agriculture, industrialization, and affordable housing.
Okay.
Of course, one other key thing that was a challenge at that point in time was security, because at the time when he came into office in 2011, Ogun State was rated the least safe state in Nigeria. And in fact, the banks were not opening. When they opened, they closed extremely early. The roads were a mess. I mean, the state was in a state of degradation. And when he came into office, he promised the citizens that he was going to rebuild the state. And that's why we had a strapline that said, mission to rebuild Ogun State.
Okay.
And that's what we've been aggressively pursuing for the last 4 years. Okay. And during that period, we've achieved quite a lot in the areas of, like you rightly said, road construction, achieved quite a lot in the area of security, achieved quite a bit in agriculture, and re-energizing the agricultural sector. Also done quite a bit in education and healthcare. But a key area of focus, my purview, has been housing and urban development, which is all about creating a base for people to be able to move into the state, live comfortably in the state, and thrive in the state.
All right. Before we talk a little bit about housing, which you said is your pivotal point, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about the healthcare, education, and agriculture, the other 3 points which you said are part of his 4-point agenda.
Yes.
And of course, if you're just joining us, we have with us Mr. Jide Odusolu. He's Special Advisor to the Governor, Ogun State, on property and investment. So if you do have questions, if you've got queries, if you've got comments, contributions, now is the time to call in and speak with the Special Advisor, Ogun State, on property and development. 0208-808-0693. That's the number you have to call. But before those calls start coming in, Jide, tell us a little bit more about the other aspects. We're not going to go too much into housing now. Tell me about healthcare, education, and
Let's start with security, like I said.
Okay.
4 years ago, people couldn't walk around freely in Ogun State.
Okay.
People would run home by 2, 3 p.m. and lock themselves indoors because there was a lot of insecurity. So when he took office, the first thing the governor did was to enter a partnership with the police. And they complained about resources, they complained about having vehicles, complained about having, what do they call these things now? The big vehicles that police use.
Okay.
The name will
trucks,
come back to me. Not trucks. They're like sorry, I've forgotten the name.
Okay.
But anyway, they're security vehicles.
Okay.
That basically these are vehicles that when we are under attack, you can actually stay in them and be protected. Okay. So what he did...
For the purpose of our viewers, why would security be such a big issue in Ogun State?
Because
just tell us quickly.
The truth of the matter was, in the previous administration, there was a lot of cult activity and there was heavy politicking. So there was rampant ownership of guns, which is illegal in Nigeria, but they had a lot of them. We have a very high youth population, and a lot of politicians use them aggressively to force their way. So when His Excellency took office, he made it a point of duty to eliminate that challenge. So we had to invest in we had to invest in a lot of equipment for the police, and we had to invest in armored personnel carriers. You know, these are because at that point, I mean, I remember in 2010, 2011, there was a massive incident in one of the towns called Shagamu where armed robbers came and they had pickups and they had guns on the back of pickups and they were just raiding an entire street.
Wow.
And that was like a regular occurrence.
Okay.
So he took it as a challenge, invested in armored personnel carriers such that every town had at least one armored personnel carrier. And once those were in place, the police then knew they could stay and fight because they were secure. So that addressed the issue of security immediately. From security, we moved to the challenge of roads. The roads were in shambles. The federal roads were in shambles, the state roads were in shambles, and we had to invest. So he started, and His Excellency believes in excellence. Sounds funny, but he believes in excellence. And so rather than just repairing and resurfacing those old roads, what he did was to decide to build what we call OGUN standard roads. And this essentially meant taking Ogun State from being a provincial town, a provincial state with very small roads, to being an international standard state with wide carriageways, properly lit up, properly laid out with sidewalks, so that everybody could move around comfortably. And that's why he became known as the road governor, because we have to do a lot of demolition. Because you're talking about roads that had not been touched since the late Obafemi Awolowo was premier of the West, and late Chief Bisi Onabanjo was governor in 1979. So when these roads had not been touched, nobody had done anything about expanding these roads. So he decided that, okay, in every major city, we're going to begin to expand our road network. We're going to make the place attractive to development to come in. So that has been one of the major driving things the first time was invested in. Then you talk about education. We talk about schools. I mean, you might have heard about the model schools being built in Ogun State. I want to challenge people. One of the questions people used to ask him was, why not just invest in repairing the old schools? Why are you building these new world-class schools where you had facilities that are the same thing you have in private schools? And his answer, which makes so much sense when you think about it, is, look, we're not just trying to patch. We're trying to upgrade. We're trying to move into the modern day. We're trying to create schools that would compete favorably with any school anywhere else in the world. If you think of the King's Colleges, the Amos Utola, and all the other old Abaka Grammar School, all the old schools that were renowned in Nigeria, it was because they had all these facilities. They had play areas, they had work areas, federal government colleges back then. They were well equipped, they were well laid out, they were spacious. The kids could learn in a lovely environment. But all of that is gone. They're all gone. They disappeared. And what we now have are ramshackle schools. You would have one compound having like 4 schools in them, maybe maximum of 1 block of classrooms. In that same classrooms where you have the teachers' quarters. It was not conducive for good learning. So what is done is that across the entire state, we're building model schools. And these model schools are designed to provide world-class education for our people. So that a lot of that is going on in the educational sector. You talk about healthcare.
So how many schools have been completed to date?
Completed and near completion, if I'm not mistaken, we should have about 24 of them now.
And those schools, the children are in them?
No,
the completed
now,
ones?
well, because of all the politicking, they haven't started operating, but they're actually doing exams right now, and they're doing tests, so students are being admitted. So by the time the next session is starting, all the schools are going to be in full operation. We have, at the minimum, we have roughly 2 of such schools in every major city in Ogun State.
All right.
You know, so these schools were built from scratch. This is from scratch. You know, so you built all these schools, and then you have healthcare. You also have the same challenge in healthcare. You see, you have to understand that Ogun State was in a run-down state before he took office. And that's why when he talks about mission to rebuild, it is literally rebuilding the entire state. So you had all the healthcare system also in shambles. So we're investing in new healthcare facilities. We're investing in new health centers across the state. And that takes a whole lot of money to do. So that's going on at the same time.
It would also take time. I mean,
it takes time.
How soon? Deliverable. What are we looking at?
Unfortunately, you're already bringing me to one key point. That it's a bone of contention for those of us that work with His Excellency. He believes in Ogun Standard Time. You know what Ogun Standard Time means? Ogun Standard Time means you work from morning to 2 a.m. You go to bed at 2 a.m. and you better be back at better be back up and ready to work by 6 a.m. If his theory is nobody needs to sleep for more than 4 hours. So the rest of the time, you spend at work. So we literally are burning. We're burning the candle at both ends to make these things happen. Yeah. And then you also have agriculture. There's a lot going on in agriculture. We're investing in rice cultivation, investing in mechanized farming, investing in greenhouses across the entire state, investing in creating new farmers markets, which are all designed to ensure that our people, because we have a large population in the agrarian sector. Agriculture is a big deal in Nigeria today, and Ogun State has one of the best terrain and soil type for agriculture. So that's also going on at the same time.
Okay, healthcare, education, agriculture. Before we talk about housing, let me just quickly ask a few questions about these points that you've mentioned.
Yes.
Like with the education, you said that, okay, well, they were revamping schools.
Yes.
But I guess one of the major problems that you had that included the security that, was a cause of insecurity in the state was because the youths were unemployed and they were going around, idle hands. The devil find works for idle hands. Do we have a call? Do we have a caller?
Hello?
Oh, good afternoon. Thank you, ma'am. Where are you calling us from and what's your name?
I'm calling from Essex. My name is Ade.
Miss Ade from Essex. Thank you. What have you got to ask Mr. Jide Odusolu?
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Jide.
Good afternoon.
I just want to ask, because I'm a born and bred Ogun girl.
Okay.
You're talking about the road.
Yes.
I know there are some roads that have been done, but all the roads that are linking to the major road are left not done. If I give you an example, there's one in Okeland Road, opposite that school. The road in Lantoro has been, I think, when I went home about a year ago, it's been done or something like that. But on the other road, the road opposite that school, from there, the roads are horrible. And there was a time, I've got a place there, which they said, oh, come and renovate it, and everybody, we can let it out and everything, which I spent a lot of money, renovate it, get people to live there. Now they're telling me everybody is moving out because the road is not good. All those things, the roads around, I'll tell you, I've seen some improvement, I'll tell you, because I did everything in Ogun State, especially in Abeokuta. And I know a lot of things that have been done, which we really recommend, we really appreciate the government doing great things. And then about the hospital, I study around Abeokuta. There's this dental center, which I was still very, very disappointed that that's since over 30 years. When you're going to Ishaba towards the Rebel Kuti Memorial School, I don't know, that hospital, you see the same thing. When we are in secondary school, I said, oh, no, this needs to be improved. The modern school is a good thing, but I think if you try to renovate some of the old schools, it will be a good thing.
All right.
Because we don't want the old schools to die down as well.
All right.
Okay. So people,
thank you so much.
We really appreciate the governor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ade from Essex. Thank you so much for that contribution. Yes, I was going to ask that, is there nothing that you can do about the old schools instead of just, abandoning them completely? At least you can revamp them, and that would also save a little bit of money.
Well, let me take both points at the same time. On the issue of schools, we're not abandoning them.
Okay.
But the best way to show excellence is to do it. Now, patching up the old school is an easy, quick fix, but it doesn't demonstrate the kind of excellence we want to put in place. So we're building the new ones, and then once the new ones are up and running, we're actually going to go back and start fixing the old ones too. But you see, if you start fixing the old school, where are you going to put the kids? They've got to have a school that you can move them to. So when new ones are operational, you move them into the new ones. Then you can demolish the old ones and rebuild them. That's as far as the school is going. The inner roads, we're rebuilding all the roads in Ogun State. But one of the challenges of road rebuilding, the way we're doing it, is that we're expanding the roads. And so you have a lot of demolition that has to go on too. So we have to be sensitive to people's concerns. Because, Ogun State is an old state with old houses, people having a lot of memories and sentiments attached to their home. So you're sensitive to that. So for some of these roads you're talking about, people will even tell us, okay, please don't go beyond this. This is where my grandfather used to have his farm. This is where this used to happen. This is where we used to have that. So you have to be careful and deliberate. But all the roads are being rebuilt. Those that we cannot expand, we're going to re-asphalt them.
Okay. I was going to say that that was going to be, a sensitive issue. All right, we do have another caller. Thank you so much for calling. Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, please, I'm calling from Highland. My name is TJ.
All the way from Ireland, Mr. TJ. Thank you. What have you got for Mr. Jide here?
Yeah, I just want to make a little contribution to what they are talking about.
Okay.
Because actually, I was living in Magboro, the artist. So,
Okay.
hello?
Hello, yes. Are you from Ogun State?
I'm not from Lagos State.
But you've lived there before. Okay, go on then.
Yeah, because my contribution is that there is a problem between Magboro area.
Yeah, go on. I'm listening.
There's a problem between Magboro and some area. I think the state government have to pump money in this area because these are the Lagos assets where they can make a lot of money from because it's an extension of Lagos State and they have to make a huge contribution to this area because a lot of people they are migrating there now and it's an opportunity for them to develop all this area.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. I'm sure that he'll take that back to His Excellency and they'll take
I don't even need to take it back to him. We're already doing that. It's a part of what we're doing now. There's a massive new development called Metro City that's coming up along the Kara, just outside the toll gate of Lagos. And we're building a whole new city on 2,000 hectares of land right there. Simultaneously, we're developing in Sherry, which is right next to it. Magboro is one of the areas that's directly under my purview. And like you rightly said, the whole area is poorly designed, poorly laid out, badly developed. But in order for us to redevelop it, we've got to generate money elsewhere that we're going to then go and invest there. So that's what we're doing right now. We're actually at the replanning stage. And once we finish replanning, we're moving into Magboro to go and redesign the place, put in proper roads, lay it out properly, and make sure that everything works. Okay,
I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much. That call came in from Ireland. Okay, Mr. Jide, let's talk a little bit about how far this government has been able to deliver. What are the deliverables? There was a meeting that the governor came for in London. I remember that I attended that meeting of Ogun State indigenes. I'm not from Ogun. I just went there as a journalist. But I realized that a lot of people that were asking questions and were throwing, it was like personal, something like what we've had over the phone now. Oh, my land was here. And so he would have to contend with all of this. Like you rightly said, how do you build roads when people's lands are involved? There's a lot of tussle, land ownership, and, we haven't got our C of O's and we haven't got this and that. How has the governor been able to imbibe all of this and at the same time move the state forward where people now, connect him to road development and say, oh, Ogun State, that one, he's doing roads, he's doing infrastructure. How has he been able to do that within this 4 years? And of course, what are his projections for the next 4?
Well, there are 3 key things. First, you can't make homeless without breaking eggs. That's just the truth. So you just have to do some demolition in order to get progress. But the governor is a very sensitive person. And if there's anything that he loves, is the people of Ogun State. He reminds all of us that work with him all the time that the good people of Ogun State come first. Nothing else matters. What is good for the good people of Ogun State? What's the standard? Can you do that for yourself? That's what he's always drumming into us. So one of the things he's done is to come up with programs and palliative measures that make it easy for people. For instance, let me give an example of what we're talking about. When we're building the roads and we have to demolish markets, one of the things that the Minister of Works has had to do is to build new markets for the market women that we're displacing. And we're not just replacing them with ramshackle markets, we're building modern international standard marketplaces for them. And that's ongoing. So as you're building the roads, you're building markets that the people that are displaced are moving into. When you talk about people's C of O's and rest, we started a program that was the very first in Nigeria called the OGUN Charters Program. OGUN Charter Program is a program that His Excellency came up with, which is designed to ensure that everybody who owns property in Ogun State who does not have paperwork, a lot of people didn't have paperwork, could regularize their status. So you had families who have had property being passed down in generations over 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years in some cases, never had a C of O. Now coming forward and saying, oh, I want to register my property. And we have that going on across the entire state. And as of today, within the last 1 year, we've issued well over 10,000 C of Os to people who had never had C of Os before. And more are still being issued on a daily basis. And then you also talk about the continuing pace of work on the roads. So compensation is paid. His Excellency insists that when we're demolishing people's houses, we must compensate them. Quite a number of people we compensate. Some people come and say, oh, I don't want compensation. I just want my house redone. So what we also have is a program, an innovative program where if your property was demolished, they build a new block of apartments and they issue an apartment to you in those buildings to compensate you for what you've lost.
Do we have a caller?
Yes, please.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you so much for calling. What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
My name is Kendi.
Mr. Kende, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London.
You're from London. Okay, what have you got to contribute?
Yeah, I just want to appreciate the government of Ogun State. Yeah, for all that they have been doing.
Are you from Ogun State?
Yes, I'm from Ogun State.
Oh, okay.
Now, well, I was in Ogun State last October, and the only appalling thing that I found out is the water supply, the water situation.
Okay.
And it was not really very good at all. So I just want to advise the administration to make it as a matter of priority to ensure that they develop the water project, especially in Abeokuta and all the environment, because when I was there, I couldn't take any pipe on water. I had to resort to this pure water, bottled water, and all stuff. So they should make it. Well, I appreciate all that is being done, but they should make it as a matter of priority.
Okay.
To look into the water project, water supply to the nooks and crannies of Ogun State.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kende. Was that the only complaint you had in Ogun State? Just water? Every other thing was that the only complaint you had?
Well, that's the only area
The major one. Okay.
Really affected, really.
Okay.
My
All
name
right.
is Kashimo.
Thank you, Mr. Kashimawo. Okay, so people are applauding the governor. They are saying that he's doing something. Of course, you can't satisfy everybody,
That's right.
at the same time, but it does seem as if, a lot of work is being done in Ogun State. Now, I remember...
Sorry, if I may mention on the issue of water, especially in Abeokuta,
Okay.
one of the things I mentioned is that there's a lot of rebuilding going on. And as the roads are being built, one of the things we discovered that the pipe work that's there, nobody had touched them in almost 20-something years.
They're rustic.
They're rustic. They're broken. Many of them are broken. So part of what the administration is also doing concurrently is that we're laying new water lines.
So as you're doing that,
As you're doing the
the
road,
same thing.
you're laying new power lines, you're laying new connections. So I'm sure by the time Mr. Kashima comes visiting again, he's going to have pipe-borne water in his area.
Okay, Mr. Kashima, next time you're in Abeokuta,
You should
Mr.
check.
Jide says that there will be water in Abeokuta because they're doing the roads simultaneously and putting in new water pipelines. Thank you so much for your call. Okay, talk a little bit to us about agriculture. I know you mentioned rice. You mentioned
Greenhouses.
Greenhouses. Is that green farming? You're doing green
well,
farming?
one of the things is, like I said to you,
and what are the main crops in Ogun State? Let's have a
literally speaking, there's almost nothing you can't plant in Ogun State. I was shocked when I found that out. That
Mr. Jide, we have another caller. Okay, just hold on to that. I'll come back to you. Thank you for calling. Who's calling? Good afternoon. Where are you calling us from?
Good afternoon. My name is Joseph.
Mr. Joseph?
I live in Ibadan. Yeah.
You live where?
In Ibadan, but
you live in Ibadan?
Ikeja. I'm coming from Luton.
Okay, you're calling from Luton. You live in Ibadan, but you're from Ikeja.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we got all of that. So, what's your country?
Yeah, I'm very pleased with what this man is answering. I was impressed by the way he's answering a lot of questions, and I only wish because I have a house in Ibadan, I only wish that such action to take place in Ibadan where I'm very, very much
Ibadan, your state. Okay.
At the same time, like the man answering the question. I don't know his name.
It's Mr. Jide Odusolu. He's the special advisor, property and investment to the governor of Ogun State. All right, thank you so much.
I'm very pleased, and I thank you very much for bringing this to us, because I live here in Luton.
Okay.
That's why I'm happy to.
That you saw, okay.
He's just answering all the questions at the right time. I was impressed by his answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right then. Okay.
Right.
Thank you so much for your call. All the way from Luton. You live in Ibadan. You are You're from Ikeja, but thank you so much for your wonderful contribution from Luton. Okay, we were talking a little bit about agriculture. You were saying something about rice and, of course, green
Yes.
farming.
Well, like I said, the administration has invested a lot in agriculture. So one of the things we've also done is to encourage people to go into mechanized farming. In fact, we have an innovative program hoping to be a beneficiary of now, where His Excellency is encouraging people to come back into farming. So you can actually apply to the Commissioner for Agriculture, and you will get allocated land, provided if you can demonstrate that you want to go into farming and where you want to do it, and it's allocated to you at an extremely attractive rate. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 1,000 naira per hectare or 10,000 naira per hectare. It's quite low. And the whole idea is to encourage people, professionals, to go into farming. So you have a lot of investment in the agricultural sector in Ogun State today. Like I said, we're doing rice farming. I'm sure you've heard of Ofada rice. Ofada rice came from Lagos. Like His Excellency always says, Ofada rice is a Ogun State product that Lagos took over.
Abby?
So we're taking our product back.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're encouraging people to go into rice farming. You have tomato farming. That's where we talk about the greenhouses. You have a lot of tomato farming. You have a lot of fish farming. It's amazing how much is going on.
Do we have a caller?
Hello.
Good afternoon. Where are you calling us from? What's your name?
My name is Rachel Ogule, Mama.
Okay. Thank you, Mama. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London, St. Catherine's Dock.
You are welcome to the program. What have you got for Mr. Jide this afternoon?
Okay, I just want to commend your efforts. You are all good.
Okay.
You are all good. Yes. I know you're talking about Ogun State, eh? Hello. Tell your governor.
Yes, ma.
Hello, dear.
Yes, ma.
Tell your governor. He's good.
Thank you, ma.
Aragbesola is good. Fashola is good. Asiwaju is good. Onida's gone is good. And all you younger ones, you have Awolowo children. Thank you.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you, ma.
All I want to say.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you to Ben Television. May God help him.
Amen.
Carry on to bring all of you together this week. All right, bye.
All right. Thank you,
Bye-bye,
Mama.
Okay.
That's Mama Rachel from London. She's
That's sweet.
called to the short
That's
word, and she had good words for everybody. So that's a goodwill message for you to take back to the governor and, of course, to the other people that she mentioned. Talking about agriculture, though, I was going to ask you before the call came in. This this innovation you're talking about, is it new? Because I remember the previous government, they said something like this. We had an event for business in Africa, in central London, and I did ask a question. I said, for us that are non-indigenous of Ogun State and would like to invest, what are the prospects? What are the possibilities? And that was under Governor Daniels. And what I was told was that a piece of land would be made available. Then I wanted to go into pepper and tomato production and all that. And I said I could see that there was a lot of wastage. What can we do? How can we work together so that we can minimize wastage and, of course, increase the distribution? And I was told to come to Ogun State, and I went on a few times, and I got discouraged because nothing was happening after the talk had been. After we did all the talk in London, when we got down to basic, it wasn't like that. So this new one, is this a new thing? Is this a carry-on? Is this going to be different?
I'll tell you one of the huge differences between Governor Mosun and other administrations is that his administration is peopled by professionals, technocrats. Most of us are career professionals that he brought into government to drive the process. So the difference between our administration and any other administration is that when we say we're going to do something, there's a plan that's already been put in place. There's a system. Is this
continuity? Is this something you picked up from him?
No,
from his administration, or is this a new thing?
It's taking the good that was there, that wasn't being well articulated or well processed or implemented, and implementing them and adding enhanced value to them. For instance, a lot of the agricultural equipment we're talking about had been purchased, but they were lying around wasted. They were lying around being used for PP, private practices, and being used by a few people like a cabal. So what this administration did was to bring all of them under one umbrella and start giving them out on contract to people. Anybody can walk in and say, oh, I want to farm in Igua, and I need equipment to come and clear my farm. You sign, you pay government. The equipment go there, they do the work, they come
What
back.
of the land? For those of us that are not from Ogun
You
State,
just
because
come
then we
in,
were
go
told that
into the
land was
Ministry of
available.
Agriculture and apply. Land is available, and you don't need to know anybody. Listen, when we talk about housing, you see the same thing. People ask me, oh, if I want to buy OPIC property, who do I need to call? Why do I need to call? I say, you don't need to call anybody. Get on our website, fill in an inquiry form. Somebody will respond to you. You pay the fee for the form. You buy the form. You fill the form. You don't need to know anybody.
Okay. When he mentioned OPIC, that is Ogun State
Property Investment Corporation. You don't need to know anybody.
We'll be talking a little bit more about that when we come back from the break. Don't go away. We're going on a short break. Thank you. Hi and welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Ben Television Live, and of course we're focusing on Ogun State today. We're taking you through the developments that has happened in Ogun State so far under this present administration. I'm sure you would recall that Governor Amosun was brought back in, so he's doing another, 4-year term, and we're looking at what he has done so far, and of course we're projecting into what we should expect in the future as it concerns Ogun State. With me here is Mr. Jide Odusolu, the Special Advisor, Property and Investment, and to the Governor. And of course, he's the Managing Director, Ogun State Property Investment Corporation, OPIC. You're welcome once again, Mr. Jide. For the benefit of our viewers, please tell us what OPIC means.
Okay.
This is the brochure that he brought into the this doesn't tell us that much. Okay.
Well, OPIC,
so you tell us a little bit what
OPIC is. A 30-year-old corporation.
30 years.
It's 30 years old.
Okay.
Owned by the Ogun State government. It was created out of an observed need for a vehicle to undertake development of the frontier areas of the state. You know, Ogun State is a great gateway state. We actually share borders with both the international market to Benin, Republic of Benin, and with Lagos State and with the rest of Nigeria. You cannot get in and out of the southwest without going through Ogun State. And you cannot enter Nigeria if you're coming from Benin without going through Ogun State. So Ogun State had a unique position being a gateway state. And what was observed by the then government under General Dia, then it was a military government, was that there was a huge need for a vehicle to undertake development of the frontier areas being the border towns. So OPIC was created as an investment vehicle that would work like a private development corporation, albeit owned by the government. And its whole purpose is to develop those areas of a state by using private capital. So we don't get money from the state as such. What we get from the state is, what we got from the state was to get land areas ceded to us. So we were then mandated to go and raise money and develop those areas into new towns. So you have areas like Agbara, you have areas like Isheri. They were all developed initially by OPIC, and large chunks of them are still being developed by us today.
30 years, you say you've been.
30 years.
30 years. OPIC has been in existence. Tell me, what is the track record? What have they done? What can you show for the 30 years?
Well, what we've done a whole lot.
Okay.
If you know about Agbara, you know that Agbara is the industrial hub of Nigeria, and Agbara is an 8,000-hectare industrial estate that is roughly 40% developed now. And OPIC's job is to continue to accelerate the development of that place until it becomes a fully developed community. Similarly, Isheri, which is, a lot of people know Isheri because it's a place you come to Mlele as you leave Lagos along the Long Bridge. Isheri has also been developed substantially by OPIC. But we don't just focus on developing these large new towns. We also have commercial development. So, for instance, next to Sheraton, we have OPIC Plaza. It's a big shopping complex that was developed by OPIC quite a while back. And then we also have other similar buildings in Isheri and in Abeokuta, which are basically commercial developments, properties owned by us. So OPIC focuses on not just building houses and building estates, but also in expanding the commercial base. Now, in this administration, we've done 3 major new developments. We have New Makun City, which is located next to the Redemption Camp along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. It's a 750-hectare new city that we're developing there. You have the ongoing expansion that we're doing in Agbara, where we're developing about 250 hectares of new industrial schemes. And then we have our new landmark, which is Orange Valley. That's this lovely community that I brought you the brochure. That's for you. Now, Orange Valley is meant to be what is designed as a fully serviced gated community, mini gated community for people looking for high-end accommodation in Ogun State, because we didn't have any. Now, that project was started and completed within a 9-month period.
Wow.
And it's fully serviced. You've got swimming pool.
Completed by the private sector?
Completed by OPIC.
Okay, OPIC itself.
You know, OPIC built it. So it's a totally new built greenfield project. 66 housing, 64 bedroom housing units, complete with squash courts.
I think we have a caller. They might want to ask you about properties in Ogun State. Do we have a caller? Okay.
So complete with the squash court, the swimming pool, and support facilities. Simultaneously with Orange Valley, we have what we call the New Dawn District in Agbara. That's a lower-end development. When I say lower-end, I'm talking pricing now, because what we've done is to scale the houses. So we start from the entry level, which is a 2-bedroom terrace bungalow, going as high as the high-end, which will be a 5-bedroom villa, which we're developing in close communities. Because what we found is that a large pool of people are migrating into Ogun State. And we did not have enough housing stock to support them. So what His Excellency has done is to put together a team, of which OPIC is a part, to ensure that we can accommodate all of these people. So there is no use saying PRD should come and open a $300 million facility in Ogun State, and then they have to truck in their professionals from Lagos. So they are paying a high cost.
So as you're thinking of developing the state,
exactly.
you're also thinking of
how to house the people, accommodate the people.
Okay, we do have a call now, Mr. Jide. Thank you. Who's calling? Hello, good afternoon.
My name is Ibrahim
Mr.
Babalola.
Ibrahim Babalola. Where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm coming from Hackney, London.
Hackney, London. Thank you so much. What have you got for Mr. Jide here?
Yeah, Mr. Jide, I just want to make a quick contribution.
Okay.
I just want to talk about Ibafo.
Okay.
Because I'm building my house, around Ibafo.
Okay, you're from Ogun State?
Yeah, Ibafo. That's Lagos Express Road.
Yes.
So, but I can see that a lot of, I can see a lot of people, when I try to come up from Ibafo, and people want to cross over to the other side, it's very dangerous. All right? It's very dangerous. And there's a market around there. And in between that road, you can see that they are dumping a lot of rubbish. And that place is smelling. I'm telling you this. It's smelling, but I'm building my own house there. All right? But I can see that there's a lot of things to be done. A lot. But there's a lot of improvement. The place is now, you can see that a lot of people are moving down there. So please, we want your government to do more for the people and how to protect our people for that Lagos Ibadan Express Road when they are crossing over. And when they are talking rubbish there, my dear brother, it's not good. So please, we want you to do more for us. And then more about this Omonile. So when they are doing something, you see them come down in thousands. So when they come and spend money, so when you give them money, and that says we come out again. So that we have found it so difficult. So this is a big opportunity for me to talk to you. I can see Mr. Governor is doing very well. So may God bless you and give you more vision, and God protect you and protect our governor. God bless you.
Thank you.
My big sister,
I've always watched your program.
Thank
God
you.
bless you as well.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you.
then bye.
All right, thank you. That's our caller who lives in Hackney but has
You
a
know,
residence in
it's
Agbafu.
interesting when he speaks about the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, because we had a similar experience in Ijebu-Ode along the Lagos-Benin Expressway. And what His Excellency did was to take the bull by the horns, and we built an overhead bridge, a bridge to allow traffic to cross the highway, and that eliminated a lot of challenges there. But here's the punchline. That is a federal highway, and we are having to invest to build that bridge. Now, like I think the earlier program today, we're talking about the fact that there's that disconnect between federal and state roads.
Yeah.
Now, the Lagos-Ibadan Express is a federal road. The good news there is that now that we have the same party in the center and in the state, there will be greater synergy.
Okay.
In the past, we couldn't have done much, because if we try and do something there, then somebody comes out of the woodwork and says, oh, don't touch the road. It's a federal road. But we believe that with this new administration, there'll be marked improvement, there'll be dramatic improvement along that particular axis.
So one of the things you're going to earmark and speak to His Excellency
Yes.
about, and say once we're in federal representation,
It's even going to be fixed, because now we have a say, because we would ordinarily have wanted to fix it in the past. We would have gotten a challenge and a pushback, but now we know that anything we're doing over there, we're going to have the full backing of General Buhari, so there'll be no challenge with fixing it.
The other issue, though, I remember that this came up a lot when we had that conference with your governor, when I said that he was in London recently. A lot of people came to complain about this Omonile, thing.
Yes.
I know it happens throughout Nigeria, but I think Ogun State is one that, is very, very vicious, and it does tend to, disillusion people, and it makes them not to want to come to Ogun State if they're going to have to face that much, especially people that are not from that. So what can be done about this?
My candid opinion in the first instance is that you should have no reason to face Omonile issues if you're buying property from any of the recognized government-owned agencies. In Lake Ogun State, if you want to buy property, it's either of three agencies that you're dealing with normally. It's either the Bureau of Lands and Survey, which is the government arm that's responsible for managing all land banks in Ogun State, or you're buying from OPIC, which is a government-owned corporation that has lands under its administration, or you're buying from the Housing Corporation, which is the other government-owned corporation that has land under its administration. The challenge is that some people, in order to circumvent and undercut the fees they would pay, go and buy from Omoniles, and they come back to us to try and regularize. So they open the door to the shenanigans of these Omoniles. That's one part of the problem. The other part of the problem has to now do with family-owned land.
I was going to say...
Now, that's why, remember I mentioned that we have the Homeowner Charter Program that this government has introduced. With the Homeowner Charter Program, if you've registered your property, you cannot have Omonile issues. Because Omonile issues starts from the simple fact that you buy property, you don't have any title, you don't have any proof of ownership. So the man comes out of the woodwork and says, oh, my father's father is one that had the farm there, pay me. You pay him. As he is going, somebody else goes, no, it's not his father that owned the property. His father's property actually ended over there. My father started from here. Then you pay again. Then as you're doing your foundation, somebody else comes and says, oh, those two people that you paid, their father actually bought for my father.
Oh, sugar. So what is your advice now? If I wanted to buy land in
I'll
Ogun
tell you,
State
buy
now?
government certified land.
Okay, so
It's
we
a
can come to
simple thing.
OPIC and get land?
Come to OPIC, go to Bureau of Lands, apply and buy your land.
Okay, OPIC can do land, or is it just the
We
development?
do land. We do land. The difference between us and the Bureau of Lands is Bureau of Lands is a government agency vested with all government land. So you want to buy in any town in Ogun State, they can sell to you. OPIC is a corporation. We have areas that are under our management.
Okay.
So if you want to buy land in Anisheri, there are parts of Isheri that you can buy from OPIC. Otherwise, you have to go to Bureau of Lands. If you want to buy in Agbara, you buy from OPIC. If you want to buy in New Market City, you buy from OPIC. But if you want to buy in Shagamu, you go to Bureau of Lands. Because they are the government agency that have that area. And then another thing is that wherever you're buying from, whoever you're buying from, you do a land search. So even when you're buying family-owned land, if you go to Bureau of Lands and Survey, they will trace your survey for you. They will confirm this is the real owner of the land. So before you pay anybody, including your money, you know that this person you're paying is the genuine owner of the land. That actually is where people begin to fall short. They don't do the land search. They don't do the information on research. So when they pay, they're paying on a wing and a prayer. And you might end up paying the wrong person.
Okay. You mentioned that they can come to OPIC and you can, you know, able to provide land. For someone that is not from Ogun State and doesn't know, you know, the environs and all that, what would be your advice? Do they come to you and you tell them where you're, you know, where you have land and what you're able to do? Other than, you know, going
we have offices
searching?
in Ikeja. We have offices in the OPIC Plaza in Ikeja. They can go in there, make inquiries.
Okay.
They can come to our headquarters in Abeokuta, in Okelewo, make inquiries.
Okay.
They can even go to our Agbara office. In fact, one of the things I encourage people, because we had this challenge in Agbara where people would come and say, oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know. And we're like, look, you can know, because all you need to do is walk into our office and make inquiries. We're a business. We might be government owned, but we are a business. So you can't come, or you go online and send us an email.
Okay, you're giving us a bit more details about, you know, where they can find you. Let's quickly take this call. Thank you so much. Who's calling and where are you calling us from?
My name is Ajiboye, calling from South London.
Mr. Ajiboye from South London. What have you got to
I
contribute?
just want to make a quick suggestion to gentleman there.
Okay.
Well, I'm very happy for what has happened in Nigeria now. And we, most of us, are ready to come back home because we can see serious people that want to do something better for us. If it is genuine, if they are not going to be just talk, it's going to happen. We are ready. That place is going to be transformed. Now, my suggestion concerning about this Ibadan to Lagos Express Road, you know where this Redeemed Church Camp something road are playing. Whenever people are traveling from Lagos to Ibadan, whenever they're doing something in that area, lots of traffic, use 2-3 hours on that road. What can the Ogun State and Lagos State and the federal will help us to do to decongest that area? Either the flyover, either the tunnel, something that can happen so that when we are doing business, we can make our factory in anywhere as long as we can transport those things into wherever we want to sell it. So can anything happen? And I can make a suggestion that if you can work fully to the general official of that organization, I know they can contribute their money also to make that place to be transformed. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Well,
Mr.
What's the name again?
Ajibawo from London.
I have good news for Mr. Ajibawo.
Ajibola.
Mr. Ajibola, I have good news for him. 3 things are ongoing as we speak. In the first instance, the federal government had already commenced the reconstruction of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And we, Ogun State and Lagos State government, have been in close liaison with them. Okay. And they're building a slip road that serves the churches. If you notice at Mountain of Fire, there's already a slip road that goes under the bridge, so that there's less congestion there. There's an overhead there's going to be an overhead bypass that's going to go around where you have Redeemed, so that Redeemed congestion will soon be a thing of the past. That is one thing that's going on the federal side. We are also rebuilding the Mowe Ibafo-Papalanto road as we speak, and that's going to be an alternative road that when you're going to Abeokuta, you're going to Ibadan, you can actually bypass the entire expressway, detour in through Mowe, and come out at Papalanto and continue your journey. That's ongoing. At the same time, there's also the Shimawa road that's also being built. Now, the Shimawa bypass and the Papalanto bypass are being built by Ogun State government. As we speak, we're already working on those roads, so that what he's describing will soon be, if in another year, he's going to be amazed when he goes there again, that the challenges that you have right now will be non-existent.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Ajibola. I hope that answered your question. Yes, you were talking a little bit about telling us, the details about OPIC, where we can find you if we want.
Yes, I was saying first, for people in the diaspora, you can go online, www.opic.com.ng, and when you go online, you can actually get us. You can find out more about us there. You can send us emails at marketing@opic.com.ng to make inquiries, and all inquiries will be addressed within a 24-hour period. And then apart from that, for those who have access to people in Nigeria or can come to Nigeria, if you're in Abeokuta, you can come to the OPIC headquarters. Ask for the marketing contact center. There will be somebody there to attend to you. If you are in the first satellite axis of Lagos, you can go to our Agbara office. We also have a contact center over there. If you are in main Lagos, you can go to our regional office in the OPIC Plaza, that's right next to Sheraton. There will also be somebody there to attend to you.
Okay. Mr. Jide, let's take this last call before we round up. Yes, thank you. Who's calling and where are you calling us from? Oh, okay. All right then.
No, sorry, before we round up, one of the things I think we need to also mention, you were pointing at the flyer that we did. One of the things we know is that a lot of people who want to buy our homes, they typically send money to their families at home to build for them. And then they have issues of, oh, the money was sent, it was misappropriated, it wasn't spent on the kind of house we want. Part of what we've done is to create a bouquet. So we have houses starting from 2-bedroom terrace bungalows all the way up to 5-bedroom villas that I spoke about. And we allow instrumental payment plans. So we have brokers that we are appointing in London, we are appointing within around Europe and in the US, who their job will be to pre-qualify people and then send us the list of people that qualify, and people can actually afford to buy our homes and pay instrumentally over a 3-year period, interest-free.
Tell us a little bit about that. I can see here OPIC starter homes.
Yeah.
Does that mean that if I start with the 2-bedroom bungalow, if after 2-3 years I've paid that off and I think I can afford a 5-bedroom,
you can trade up.
I just
You can trade up. You can trade up because they're all being developed by us within our communities. There's opportunity for trade up. So we actually have people who come to us at times and say, "Oh, I have land in Isheri, but it's small. What I really want is in Agbara. Can I pay the difference and migrate from Isheri to Agbara?" And we say, "Why not?" So you surrender the documents for what you have in Isheri, and we'll give you one in Agbara.
Get a new one. Okay.
So you have a bungalow. You have a 2-bed bungalow. Maybe you're here. I just want a starter home. You have a 2-bed bungalow. Then you decide you want to relocate to Nigeria. You want a 3-bed. You come to us and you apply. We'll put you on a waiting list. And once you have availability, you just trade up.
Okay, these houses, they're all in an estate?
Yes.
Because sometimes you show us, pictures of an estate, but when you see the actual home, they're like isolated bungalows.
I think this gives you a care. This is the best way to address it. This is Orange Valley.
Okay.
Where what you're seeing on this picture is what you're going to see when you get to site.
Okay.
What we believe in is what you see on picture is what you get on site.
All right.
And if you check this our newsletter, it actually tells you about our various projects too. So we do not, this is a classic example. It tells you the construction phase. So these are 4 different projects that are being shown here. You have Orange Valley, you have New Dawn District, that's Agbara, you have New Makun City. So it tells you what the state of work is. So this is what you're seeing on paper. Is what you're getting on site.
All right then, okay. That's Mr. Jide Odusolu, Special Advisor, Property and Investment, Ogun State, and of course the Managing Director, Ogun State Property Investment Corporation. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
And of course, you've left us your details, and if anybody wants more information, they can contact Ben Television and we'll forward the details to you. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. As of now, we're out of time. My name is Yemi Akiola. See you again next week.
Thanks for having me, Arod.
You're welcome.